Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Really? Oh. Well, everybody likes what they like, you know. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 8 o'clock a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Aisha Saxon, good morning to you. It's Monday the 7th? What's the date?
6th.
The 6th. Monday the 6th.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. We got a great show for you guys and a great discussion for you this morning. We have an Endiro fan. We got Matt Orr, candidate for 6th Ward Alderman. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well today, Curtis. How about yourself?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. So I got Treadwell this morning, and Matt looks, he's like, Treadwell? I said, yeah. He's like, I'm more of an Endiro guy. Shout out to Endiro because their cappuccino is second to none. They've got a great cappuccino. So I will, Treadwell, I love you. I love you very much. Chad, what up? But if I want a cappuccino, I will go to Endiro for that. The time is 8:01. How's life?
Life is good. Also, let me recommend, if you go to Endiro, try the Aurora cheesesteak.
Aurora cheesesteak?
Same kind of twist on a cheesesteak. They basically cut up some skirt steak, and they basically grill it up, and they take a pan, and they basically pan fry some hot jardinera and some, like, cheese curds.
Ooh.
Mix it together and throw it on a bun.
Oh,
my God.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Delicious.
Damn. Hungry as hell right now. Anybody want to go down there and get us some cheesesteaks and bring them back? The time is 8:01. The next time you order popcorn, the butter will be on us. Gabriel Bradford, how you feeling?
I'm feeling really well. I agree with Matt. Their Aurora cheesesteak is like second to none. It's especially because you don't expect the kick. It's so good. Yeah.
Okay. Got to try it out sometimes. The only guy that hasn't had it is myself, so I'll try it out. Valerie, good morning to you as well. It's 8:02 a.m. Hope that you guys had a great weekend. Today's conversation is going to be great for any of you Aurorans and especially you 6th Warders out there. So now the first time you ran was in 2019.
Correct.
This is your next bid for 6th Ward Alderman. So I'm curious, have you developed your elevator speech yet? Your elevator pitch yet?
I have. I definitely can say in the past 4 years, I've grown exponentially.
Okay.
Running at the age of 20, I felt that I knew I was doing something and I knew that I had a plan, but going through the motions for the first time around when you've never really been in depth with a campaign can be kind of confusing.
Right.
So this time around, it's been a lot more knowledgeable, having a little bit of a setup and kind of knowing what works, what doesn't work. So I'm pretty much thankful for that.
Right. The signs, the campaigning, the door knocking, all that kind of stuff. It's really overwhelming if you don't know what you're doing.
And then, yes, especially door knocking, having the ability to create a conversation and handle it with a resident. Whereas, my first time around, we'd kind of both stop talking and I just stare off into their distance like, oh, okay.
You're watching their TV. Like,
have a good day.
Is that Price is Right?
Bob Barker.
Right. So now, what did so the first time you ran was before COVID?
Correct.
Okay, so what's the big difference between then and now? Because now we're opened up. You can knock on folks' doors. But what's the big difference between the two of the then and the now, besides you being ready now?
I would say the big difference is before COVID, everything was still booming. And now here in 2023, we're obviously still trying to get back to that level of what it was. I do believe that people still are somewhat conscious about, what's going on with, diseases and different viruses going around. And now you always have to keep it in the back of your head, when you're going door-to-door knocking and talking to numerous people, daily.
Right.
Okay, am I healthy? You know, when you wake up in the morning and you have the sniffles, is it the sniffles? Is it COVID?
Right.
You know, you're definitely always keeping that in the back of your head. But I would say, as of right now, I think everything's starting to shift towards normalcy again, which is good.
I think so. So what do you hear when you knock on those doors? What do folks tell you when when you're running, when you say, hey, I'm Matthew Orr, I'm running for 6th Ward Alderman? What do they tell you that the 6th Ward needs?
A lot of residents that I have been talking to, they think we need more sidewalks. They think we need to invest more in the Northgate Shopping Center. They feel like our ward is somewhat depleted compared to other wards across the city of Aurora. If you look at the 5th Ward, they've got, you know, Orchard with numerous businesses, both sides going all the way down. You look at out on the far east side, Route 59.
Ward 8?
I believe that is
that
Ward
8? Yeah.
8. I think Ward 9 clips into a part of it.
Oh, yeah, because we've been redistricted. That's
yes.
right. Yeah.
But you look at Route 59, numerous businesses popping up left and right. And then you look at the 6th Ward in the past 10 years, I think we've gotten maybe 3 or 4 businesses that have been able to stick. One of them being Starbucks, which I will not, you know, put down.
The new one?
The new one.
Lake Street.
It is on Lake Street.
Yeah, it's nice. It's got all the bells and whistles and everything. It's a nice one. Yeah, it's all right.
And that's
all
the
right.
thing. It's
I mean, it ain't no
nice,
Treadwell, but you
yes,
know.
it's not a local coffee shop, and I definitely love giving back to our local businesses. Actually, during COVID, I did probably one of the most unhealthiest things that you could do. I just started going to a different restaurant or fast food restaurant here in the city of Aurora, just buying different products. And I think I racked up over 30 or 40 different restaurants just during COVID.
Okay. All
which
right,
was somewhat unhealthy. But,
yeah.
you know, you realize that the restaurants definitely took a hit. I mean, taking exponential, you know, cuts in revenue,
Right.
and still having to pay for rent, still having to pay for employees, dealing with the meat and all the other products that, you know, come with running a business, going
Right.
up 3-4 times the price.
Right. Good morning, everybody. It's 8:06 a.m. Sean Franklin is here. Good morning, Sean Franklin. Tyler Bubba Thomas, Saul Olivas, and Wendy Connell. Right back at you, Wendy. Good morning to you as well. The time is 8:07 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora. We've got Matt Orr, who is candidate for 6th Ward Alderman on the show. So we're talking all things Aurora and all things local news. So more sidewalks, Northgate, which is in the 6th Ward. I tell you, Northgate looks like a huge opportunity, right?
I agree. I was a little bit disheartened last year when City Council decided to vote to place in a storage facility located in the old Carson's building. There were numerous residents at City Council, myself included. We all stood up. We spoke out. We said we did not want this development going in. And unfortunately, City Council pushed through it. And with a 6-6 vote, with the mayor breaking the tie, we were unsuccessful, and the project moved forward. And it's one of those things where you feel that, as a resident, are our voices truly being heard?
Well, the and for those who may be unfamiliar, that building is what used to be the Carson store, right?
Correct.
There. So saving, so besides that store and the subsequent place that it's going to be, you know, the storage facility is going to be, what else though? Because that property goes from like the auto shop right there to like Ace Hardware. And from what I've seen, I don't live on that side of town, but from what I've seen, you got a couple of businesses, little shops in there. Planet Fitness is over
Yep.
there. So I'm curious, is that building, is that kind of like the anchor of all that's wrong in the Northgate Plaza and facility, or is that perhaps something that could be, worked on for the whole package kind of thing? Like, is that sole facility all that's wrong with making Northgate something new and shiny with all the bells and whistles?
I would say no. I would agree with the latter. It's more of a supplement to the entire Northgate
Right.
as a whole.
It is a big sprawling facility though, so I've seen some of I was watching some of those city council meetings. I think the folks from who live in Riddle Highlands, right? That's that neighborhood behind there. They were very active at getting their voices across. I will admit that to have that sprawling building, nothing that's really eye-catching and just a storage facility could potentially be an eyesore. But I think about the entire lot, and it's huge. It's a big thing. So.
Yeah, and they do. They have said that there's going to be a restaurant on the front end portion of it, included in the storage facility plans for a car wash as well.
Car wash, restaurant, and storage?
Yes, there's going to be a small little section in front for a deli, like McAllister's of some sort.
Okay.
Something small. And they're also planning for a car wash. Nothing's obviously definitive. I haven't seen anything come through on the Legistar, but that's the plan.
We'll be sure to keep our eyes out for that. Mark Orr is here. He says hello with a W. Hello. Michael Rayford, good morning to you. Ali Hernandez is here too, and Joe Jackson. So, what are the boundaries of the 6th Ward?
So, for the most part, the boundaries go from Sullivan. There's a little bit of turns over by Elmwood through Highland. There's another neighborhood over there that gets clipped in. But it pretty much goes down Sullivan all the way to Randall, and then it cuts down Randall to the west. No, wait. The south, my bad. Mm-hmm. It cuts down to the south and goes to Illinois, and then it keeps going down to Illinois through Highland, and then it comes back to the south. It makes a bunch of twists and turns throughout the West Park neighborhood.
Okay.
And then it comes back down Lake Street all the way to Sullivan.
Nice.
So it's pretty much the near west side on the north side of town.
All right. Very cool. The time is 8:11. If you're just joining us, we've got our dear friend Matt Orr on the show. He is candidate for 6th Ward Alderman, so get ready for that. Also, February 28th is the primary. Early voting has begun, and as Matt and I were just talking about, did you know that you can vote 42 feet away from Good Morning Aurora? If you go to 5 East Downer Place, Suite A, so right where the voting center is, right next to the GAR building here in downtown, if you just walk right around the corner, you are so close to the second largest city's first daily packet, the home of Aurora News. How about that? Gabriel, take us to a commercial. Give us about 2 or 3 news joints, young man, and then we will come back in with our great conversation with Matt Orr, candidate for 6th Ward Alderman.
Good morning. Saturday, March 11th from noon to 3 p.m. will be the chili cook-off happening at Java Plus at 1677 Montgomery Road. Competitors must complete an application plus a $20 fee for entry. For customers, there is a $5 fee, and that includes sampling all the tasty submissions. All applications must be completed and submitted by March 1st. For more information and to receive an application, you can call 331-212-6665. Again, that number is 331-212-6665. That sounds really good. I love chili, especially when you have the bacon bits and sausage or something. That's really
good.
Word up. Yeah. That's the best chili. I've had some bad chilies before, but put your bacon in chili, you can't go wrong. And February 11th will be the next date of the AEF 2023 Coat Drive. The drop-off location is Java Plus, located, again, at 1677 Montgomery Road. Socks, blankets, coats, and other helpful warming items are greatly appreciated. For questions or more information, contact our friend Michael Rayford at 630-569-3734. Again, that number is 630-569-3734. I was just at Java Plus last Saturday, and it was great seeing how they're so open to the community. So if anyone has coats to drop off, definitely check that out. Again, they'll be accepting them this Saturday, February 11th. And lastly, Saturday, February 18th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., there will be a great seminar and workshop taking place at Cottonseed Creative Exchange. at 64 South River Street in downtown Aurora. Join our friends of Duarte Realty Company, the Federal Savings Bank, and the Aurora Financial Empowerment Center to learn more about steps to home ownership. This would be a helpful event. For more information, call or text 331-999-2498. Again, that number is 331-999-2498. Or you can email Brendan at ATLAN at gmail.com.
Want me to tell you a little secret?
Oh.
So when you see an email like that has so many characters and you're like, yo, what is this? Just tell people like, yo, I got the email. I'm going to put it in the chat for you. Don't even waste your time with that, dog. Don't even waste your time with that.
It's a long email.
Don't even waste your time with it. Because remember, I typed it, so I was like, what is this? Gabriel can just read that. Leave me on a commercial real quick. One last thing, ladies and gentlemen. The time is 8:15. State Representative Maura Hirschauer passes a bill requiring 5 days of paid time off for employees. Ms. Hirschauer voted to pass Senate Bill 208, the Paid Leave for All Workers Act, which requires all employers to grant their employees working a minimum of 40 hours a week, 5 days of paid leave per year for personal use. Under this legislation, workers can earn paid leave starting on the first day of employment, which translates to 1 hour of leave for every 40 hours of work. Her vote also ensures that employees will be permitted to use their paid leave as soon as the 90th day of employment. However, employers hold the right to allow workers to use paid leave earlier. The time is 8:16 a.m. League of Women Voters, February 8th.
Correct. At 6:30, and it's going to be held via Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to the Facebook page of the League of Women Voters, and at 6:30 it's going to go live, and you can follow along. And all 5 candidates have said that they will be in attendance.
Right.
So it's a forum style, not a debate, so to speak. And in a forum, the League of Women Voters will offer questions, and it will be a round robin around the table, and every candidate will have their opportunity to voice their answer.
Right. Thing I like about forums, now you and I, here's the thing that a lot of people do know, but some of the new listeners may not know. Anybody who comes on Good Morning Aurora, there's always a before the mic come on talk, and then there's an after the mics are off talk. So before the mic came on, you and I were talking about the difference between a forum and a debate, and you mentioned, it'd be great if it was in person, right?
Correct.
I like when they're in person too. I do like forums, and I'll tell you why. In a forum, it's very, hey, here's the question, candidate 1, candidate 2, candidate 3. What I look for, or what I notice in my forums when I look and see what's going on is, if the question is, how will you lower taxes, right? Candidate 1 gives the answer. Candidate 2, sometimes these people, you see them, they don't just answer, they say, well, my opponent didn't, but that's not what we asked you, right? It's like, I do like to see people who can just straight ahead and just answer the question. So I do believe that's one of the benefits of a forum as opposed to a debate. Mm-hmm. Are you ready for it?
I am ready for it,
okay.
And I'm kind of glad that it's not a debate, considering watching the ones in Chicago lately.
Oh, right. I've been seeing
tremendously
them.
awful.
Dude, oh my gosh.
Whether it go from protesters, crashing it, or other candidates bashing each other,
right.
It just gets a little bit childish.
It does.
Especially when you have a room full of adults and they act like they're in a preschool. It's frustrating.
Right. What if you had to make your message to the people? What do you bring to the table that other candidates, perhaps, we won't say that they don't have it, but what do you bring, and what makes you unique as a potential candidate for the 6th Ward, Alderman?
I would say the one thing that definitely separates me from majority of the rest of City Council would be my blue-collar background. I started off at the age of 18 working for West Aurora School District as a custodian.
Okay.
I spent 5 years there. I recently accepted a new job about 6 months ago with the Village of Montgomery in their Public Works Department.
All right.
And having that blue-collar background, you kind of get a different aspect of how you look at things, because you're not a business owner, you're not a lawyer, you're not a white-collar job person. I can relate to a lot of residents that are, blue collar, especially in the city of Aurora. Looking at my family, my grandfather on my dad's side worked at All Steel. His brother worked at Lion Metal. Blue collar is definitely what has made Aurora. And you look at a lot of residents that are blue collar, they're struggling right now.
Right.
And sometimes you don't get that exact feeling unless you're actually there in the blue collar aspect.
Do you think that there's a gulf between the people and the leaders, so to speak?
I do. I mean, looking, just here in Aurora, we've had numerous properties redeveloped at rates of, the rent prices are just out of control.
Right.
I mean, that's happening everywhere, but, when rent's $1,200-$1,300 a month for a studio, there's fiscally no way that blue-collar residents can afford that.
Right.
And you start to think, what can we do better to help these people? Because it's not getting easier at this point, and we need to kind of find that medium of where that's at. I think that, yes, some of this development is definitely needed because it's sparking interest for people that may have never thought about coming to Aurora. But at the same time, we have to look out for the people that built it originally.
Right. Now, when you meet those residents, though, and you do the door knocking that you do, you mentioned that sidewalks, the Northgate Plaza. Mm-hmm. Do you have people who voice greater concerns other than what's happening in just the 6th Ward? And if so, what are those concerns?
Yeah, on a city level, there's a few different concerns that people are having. One of them is obviously what are you going to do differently than what's currently happening? And I try to answer that the best way I can. But a lot of people were upset with the casino development moving because at one time the 6th Ward eclipsed part of downtown.
That's right.
And the casino was in the ward.
Yep.
And it was a place back in the 90s of excitement, but it slowly dwindled down into where it's currently at. And now with that development heading out to the Farnsworth location in the next few years, a lot of residents are curious what's going to happen with that property. Is it just going to become another eyesore? And to that question, I really can't say. We're not there yet, but I doubt that it's going to be an eyesore the way things have been changing around here, especially downtown Aurora. I remember growing up and we had the one Subway location. If you were coming down here, Subway to eat. Sorry, that's all you got.
Right.
Now everything's, blossoming into a nice apple pie, so to speak. I think things are definitely changing, some for the better, some for the worse, but overall, Aurora's headed in a good direction.
What is the job of an alderman? What does an alderman do? What's the job description of an alderman? What do you do?
I don't know the exact job description, Curtis, but I can definitely say the main part of being an alderman is basically you're a bridge. You're the bridge between the residents and the city of Aurora. When a resident has a concern, they voice it to their alderman. Their alderman sends it to the correct branch of the city of Aurora where it needs to go. An issue with the police officers, awesome. Send that to Keith Cross. An issue with something in the neighborhood as far as like property standards, awesome. Property standards division. You're pretty much that bridge in helping residents learn about different services the city offers and just basically, being proactive for your ward. There's 12 different aldermen. 10 served their ward specifically. We have 2 at large.
Right.
And I would say, the main job of being an alderman is obviously attending city council, reading the legislation, sort of like a politician, but at the same time, you have to be able to relate with people in your ward, have good relationships, know what's going on, and be able to inform them of things going on.
As big as the ward is, do you see any issues that you may have coming up in doing that? What are some challenges that you want to get squared away that you may be facing?
I really don't know, Curtis. That's a good question.
Okay.
And I don't know at this point.
Okay. All right. You've done a lot of door knocking. You've been around and everything, and you recently had an event. How'd that go?
The event went pretty well. I actually have another with the Working Families Aurora Party coming up. That one is also on Wednesday, unfortunately.
Okay. Working Families of Aurora Party?
Yes.
Okay.
So they're basically a Democratic-aligned party PAC that we've put together to help out a variety of candidates in the upcoming election.
Okay.
And that's going to be at Lady T's, which is the former Mike and Denise's location.
Farnsworth.
On Farnsworth.
Right, that's right. Okay.
And that's from 5 to 8 on Wednesday. Unfortunately, yes, the League of Women Voters Forum is also at 6:30, so basically going to run over there and then run back home and get all tidied up.
And get ready. But you seem ready.
I am. I look forward to it. The only thing that I'm not ready with is I got to find a way to get my light in my room to stop just shining on my face.
Good luck. The time is 8:25 a.m. Gabriel, do me a favor, young man. Take me to a brief commercial real quick as I deliver some much-needed news to our lovely residents in, I almost said the 6th Ward. Well, we represent the whole Aurora. Yeah, now. But we got love in every single ward. If you are a 6th Ward resident, be sure to tune in to this great discussion that we're having with our friend Matthew Orr, who is one of a few candidates running. And don't forget that the primary is February 28th. Okay, so real quick, that thing that you're doing with your hands, we can hear that on the mics. So let me see that thing you got, this bottle top. You hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, so do the people. So you can't do that, like with the bass.
Okay.
You know? See, we train on the show, too. Yeah, no. I know it happens, though, man. It happens. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but just recently, there was a great ribbon cutting for at-risk mentoring, which is a fantastic after-school program that's happening in Hometown, specifically at the Community Center of Hometown, 1002 Four Seasons Boulevard. Now, this is for grades 1st through 8th. Registration has already begun, and it's Monday through Thursday, 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. They offer homework help, improved grade and test scores, intentional life skills, academic enrichment, and mentoring. They also have, and this is the cool thing about this flyer, you see this right here? After school snack. And we were making a little joke about that, like just like one snack? Like it's not snacks in plural, kid. You get one goldfish. But anyway, shouts out. Thank you very much to all the great participants in putting this together. African American Men in Unity, At-Risk Mentoring Services, and the City of Aurora Youth Services. Really good stuff. So I have the flyer for this. We've shared this information a bunch of times. We'll make sure that you get it. And then last but not least, here it is. So on the first Friday that just passed, a great friend of ours, Mr. Perry Slade, was there with Donnell Collins and Dr. Charles Smith at the David L. Pierce Museum, 20 East Downer Place. The next event that they'll be having is First Fridays on March 3rd from 6 to 9. That event will feature a live R&B band and melodic music. And then Saturday, the 18th of March from 2 to 4 p.m., there will be an artist discussion. Their artwork is very great. All three of these men are fantastic artists in their own right. Mr. Perry Slade is a talented photographer. If you go into the David L. Pierce Museum and you ever go into the gift shop on the very lower level, a lot of his work you can see there and take home with you for gifts. His work has graced many different floors and many different parts of Aurora as well. He had a great gallery at 1 East Benton like a year or so ago. So get to know these great men as they do their wonderful stuff with art here in the city of Aurora. The time is 8:28 a.m. You're listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. We are here with Matthew Orr, candidate for 6th Ward Alderman. Salvatore Hall, Sammy Hall, you up next. He's running for Alderman in Yorkville. Okay. I think like the 4th Ward of Yorkville. We had to reschedule his interview because my dad passed away, unfortunately, so we'll have to follow up with Sammy. Thank you for sharing today's episode, Salvatore. I saw that. Appreciate that. So, 6th Ward Alderman, are you prepared for day one?
I would say yes. If elected, I am 100% ready day one to get to work. One of the things that I think separates me from a lot of the other candidates, I attend every city council meeting, whether it be in person or via Zoom. I prefer in person because it always gives you the chance to, get around and talk with a lot of these aldermen. And
FaceTime.
FaceTime
Word up.
basically, and you get to see different people that work for the city, and I know quite a few of them, and it's always nice to see my good friend Sully, the police officer who watches over council.
The big dude with the tattoos.
Yes.
He looks like Brock Lesnar. Yeah, him, Sully. He's a good dude. I
Yeah.
like him. I like him.
I always get reminded of it, whenever you watch Monsters, Inc.
Yeah.
The big blue monster, that's Sully. Except he's not blue. He's just got tattoos all over his arms.
No, he's a cool brother. He's a good dude.
Yeah, very cool. And, he's always, excited to see people speak. I think he enjoys it. It's a different aspect of policing. When you look at, the on the streets policing versus I have to watch over city council and make sure no one, jumps out of line.
Yeah, and I've seen you at city councils. I've seen
Yes.
you. I came in there to talk one night. You were sitting right. I've seen you at a bunch. You're in the audience, dude. You are.
Yeah,
You got your feet on the ground.
Own little clique of people that I sit with, and I have my own little spot, pretty much where I sit. It's almost like I've got season tickets to the Aurora City Council.
Yeah, I remember seeing Sully. I came in there one day for a city council meeting, talking. Hey, how you doing? And he was telling me about how some of the I guess the higher ups or whoever makes the scheduling for the cops. He said. He's like, yeah, they want me to come. They keep offering me these jobs. Yo, you want to be on gang intelligence? You want to do this? He was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good at city council meetings. No, that's really cool. So that's good that you're starting to put that plan in action now to make those connections and do what you got to do. But from 2019 when you ran to now, did you lose that ground? I mean, we had a pandemic came. So surely there was that. But, and this is just my own personal observation, you don't seem like you lost the spice between then and now. You just seem a little bit more acclimated to what it takes to be a candidate. Is that a fair assessment? Or
I would say yes. I've followed it closely for the past 4 years. I think one of my biggest issues prior to running in 2019 was the fact that I really wasn't at city council. I wasn't truly entwined with what was happening. I didn't, I briefly would read the Legistar information, but I didn't go in depth with detail. And I think that's one of the things that definitely sets me apart now. Looking 4 years ahead, I read everything to a T. Everything's basically like a contract.
right.
And I think over the past 4 years, I've definitely taken a, pathway to succeeding. But in order to do that, you got to be more, on the dot, dot your T's and I's.
You do.
And
You do.
I'm thankful for that.
I've had the opinion that a lot of people aren't paying attention to the details. I think people typically hear the thing and they make their opinion on the thing and they run with that, not knowing that there's stipulations, dates, clauses, in case of, and/or. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot to it.
It's like when you see a headline on Facebook and you just quickly share it.
Right.
And you didn't even open the document and get the information. You're just going off the headline. And you always have to dig deeper.
Right.
It's not just, the cup's not half full. The cup is completely full. You need to drink all the water.
Right.
And if you just take the little sip off the top, you're not going to truly understand everything that's happening.
Right.
Or have a true educated, knowledge to make an assessment.
Right. Right. See, that's where and that's the that's where I was coming from with the whole Northgate thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because as a guy who's not a Sixth Ward resident, visually when you look at it, you don't see empty, boarded up businesses. You see they got a Family Dollar over there. You do see commerce and activity. It definitely could look better, though.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I grant that it's visually whack. But as a person who lives in the city but not in the ward, I've always thought, like, I really don't see how the Carson's thing and the storage facility could be, throwing out the baby with the bathwater. The whole thing is done. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm a details guy too,
I would say Carson's is about 25% of it, and the
Right.
other 75 is definitely Northgate.
Right.
And I mean, if people were to say Northgate's, not thriving, I think it's taken a different avenue of where it once was in previous time.
Oh, sure.
But
oh, yeah.
Plenty of people utilize the the Planet Fitness. There's the Harbor Freight tools over there.
Shout out.
If you need cheap tools, they got them.
Ace Hardware.
My favorite, Baba's Lemonade and Steaks.
Scratch it up. Here's the thing. Shout out to Baba's Steak and Lemonade. But look, man, you know what? I'm not going to do all that right now. They got my order wrong so many times when I'm the hungriest. I don't want the sauce on my gyro.
But I also can say, too,
I know they're busy. It's just small potatoes.
Ever since Sharks has opened up, they've also taken my money more.
Yes, so. Sharks. I got to get over there to Sharks, yeah. But shout out to Baba's Steak and Lemonade. It gets a good restaurant.
I always tell people now, if you're going there for, you want some fish fries or something, go get your fish over at Sharks and then head over to Baba's and get yourself your nice lemonade and then go back to your warm car and just start digging it and eating it. So
yeah,
good.
it is good. It can't be beat. So, shout out to them. I was just kind of upset because I did boycott them for like a month because I went there like 3 times and they got the same. I'm like, yo, why you guys not listening to me, man? But shout out to them. It's a good restaurant. I haven't been to Sharks yet, so I got to go over there and check that out.
They just recently opened, I want to say, within the past 6 months. Obviously, for myself, I tend to visit a lot of different restaurants. They're more located in the city of Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
But they're finally starting to branch out, similar to like what Baba's did.
Yeah.
Baba's originally downtown, or not downtown, Southside Chicago, and now they've branched out over into Montgomery and Aurora.
Yeah, for all of our listeners know I grew up in Harvey. I remember I've never seen the Sharks out here. I remember I was riding with a friend, and I was asleep in her passenger seat, and we were on Lake Street, so I woke up. And I saw Sharks. I was like, where the heck? Like, oh, this is Aurora? Holy cow. Yeah, good restaurant. Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised here in the city of Aurora.
Okay.
I've lived with my parents my entire life in the same house that I've grown up in. I went to Smith Elementary School, which is located in the 6th Ward. Graduated from West Aurora High School. And I've pretty much been in Aurora my whole life.
Okay.
I don't really know anything different.
Right. Did you go out for First Fridays?
I did go out for First Fridays. I tend to visit the Two Brothers Roundhouse.
Oh.
A few of my friends, they hold a basically it's an art bar.
Okay.
So you grab a drink from the wonderful bar, tenders, obviously, and you take your drink, and then you walk over, and there's different art up for display. And this year this month of February, being that First Fridays was 2/3/23, they did a Michael Jordan exhibit.
Oh,
so
nice.
It was very cool to see a lot of different Jordan art. I'm a huge fan of Jordan. Unfortunately, born in 98, I never got to see the illustrious Jordan.
Oh, man. Good times. It was good times, man.
But I can say I got to see D. Rose, and
right.
I can only imagine it's that times 4 or 5.
Yep. Yeah. It was an experience. It definitely was. The time is 8:38 a.m. Karina Suarez Darden, good morning. David Cannon, good morning. Denise Jacobson Pazzi, good morning to you. And Tracy Duran is here as well. Good morning to all you guys. You mentioned more sidewalks.
Correct.
Where is the lack of sidewalks in the 6th Ward, and what's your plan to increase it?
I think the true lack of where sidewalks are at are along Sullivan Road and Indian Trail.
Okay.
And it's right near like Pravina Mercy going down towards Lake Street on both sides.
You're right.
And I think, the city of Aurora, we have to take advantage of the things we do have. And one of those things that we have is the partnership between the Fox Valley Park District for the Riverwalk.
Right.
And it would be so nice if residents had a pathway to get there safely on a sidewalk to get down to Lake Street, get to the bike paths, safely, of course.
Right.
And right now, it's not there. I think it lacks.
Right.
And I think we could get more bike traffic in downtown or even foot traffic if we were able to add sidewalks and, make it a little bit safer for residents to get downtown.
Yeah, because what you're talking about and that location that you're mentioning, I mean, that's going all the way up there by the IBEW, right?
Yes.
To where there's no sidewalks going up that way.
And I've seen people late at night walking down the side of the road with black coat on, black pants,
no reflective and
no
stuff.
reflective gear at all. And I feel so, like waiting for something bad to happen.
Sure.
And I hope that nothing does happen. But with the way drivers are nowadays, people, with their cell phones, full focus is not on the road. We can't just keep accepting it and saying, oh, well, it hasn't happened yet, so it's not going to happen. We need to take the proactive measures to make sure it doesn't happen. And I think if we were able to create a little bit of an easement and a sidewalk on either side of the road, we don't have to do both sides, but, if we could at least get a sidewalk on one side of the road, that way people have a safe way of accessing,
right.
Whether it be the bike path, whether it be Cermak, whether it be the gas station, that's something we should focus on.
What's the process for getting sidewalks installed where there are none? Is that something that's in the bailiwick of duties of an alderman? Certainly, alderman could bring that to the attention of the council. But is that a City of Aurora construction type of thing that takes place then? What is that process?
It is definitely a City of Aurora thing. You would have to work with city officials and fight to get it in the budget for the next fiscal year.
Okay.
It's something that you can fight up for.
Right.
Whether they have the fiscal funds for it, that'd be another realm of answer for that. But it's something that I think we could do, especially with the amount of money Aurora generates.
Absolutely.
A small amount of sidewalk in comparison to some of the other projects. And I think it would just offer a lot of benefit for the residents in those nearby neighborhoods.
Is Prisco Center in 6th Ward?
It is.
Okay. So Prisco Center is in 6th Ward. That restaurant that's now across the street,
El Capitan.
El Capitan, is part of the ward as
Correct.
well. So presuming that you ascend to the lofty title of 6th Ward Alderman, what would you be doing to ensure that an El Capitan stays there for the next 3, 5, 10 years? What's it going to be like working with businesses to make sure that they are experiencing positive growth and maintaining that as opposed to falling?
I would say the one thing that I would do is I would work with these businesses and inform them of different programs the City of Aurora is offering to help businesses, whether it be a relief grant, a new business startup grant. The City of Aurora has numerous grants out there, and I would make sure that these businesses and small owners are aware of them, because unfortunately small business owners, unlike a big brick and mortar, they have to deal with a lot more fiscal responsibility.
Right.
You don't have the room to make mistakes, and everything is very tight market. And I want them to succeed more than anything, especially when you look at the 6th Ward, whether it be Lenamar. You've also have soon the El Capitan,
right,
and Diro. There's numerous different places and Andiro no longer in the 6th Ward, unfortunately.
Right.
Sad,
damn.
due to redistricting.
Salty.
But, you have numerous different, small businesses out there in the City of Aurora. And I think small businesses are what make Aurora. And I want to do everything in my power to make sure that they're able to continue to thrive in the city. And if they have got any concerns or issues, I'm going to be right there to help them.
when it comes to the funds you mentioned, relief grants, CBDG funds, and things like that, does an alderman? This is what I don't know. Is the alderman the person who? So if I'm a business and I need to apply, am I applying with my alderman, or do I say, "Hey, alderman," or my business needs some help. How do I go about it? And do you put me in touch with who does help? How does that work?
It would definitely be the latter. You come to me, say, hey, we're struggling with this or that. At that point, you can kind of, understand the situation a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then you would reach out to, the corrective branch of the city of Aurora,
right,
and have them get in contact with them. And then they would do all the paperwork and all the necessities to get one of those grants set up. And it's pretty much, gravy from there.
Okay. Time is 8:45 a.m. Tracy Durant says, back in the day, Northgate was what kind of knocked out the downtown shops when they had Sears and then Carson's. Then Fox Valley Mall came in. I had gotten together with Ruby Sue B and Kristen Latour as a small group to see about getting the Northgate sign updated and fixed. We would love to see it back and turned on again. I like that.
And speaking of that, one thing that I'd like to do if elected, I would look at, utilizing ward funds, finding grants. I would love to relight the Northgate sign.
Okay.
Because I think, if the city of Aurora could, take ownership of that property, make it a historical landmark, which I think it definitely is. It's got a lot of historic,
it does,
background around it. If we can make it a historic landmark, find the grants for it, utilize ward funds, relight the sign, use solar energy in order to power it, I think there's a good possibility. How far along and how much it will take, that's, to be determined. But I definitely think that the ward would look better and have a nice shine to it. Just driving down Lake Street late at night, you just see that shine bright with the red and green glistening colors like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And it just kind of gets you tingling because it's exciting.
It's exciting. It's nostalgic. And the residents of the 6th Ward and the people of Aurora truly deserve to be lit up like that and shown and showcased. Plus, because there's still carnivals that happen out there every now. It's Windy City Amusements. That's who it is. Yeah, they still do a little shebang out there. How much of a shebang would it be if had all the bells and whistles lit up? That'd be really nice. Time is 8:47. What's your relationship with fire and police departments, and how does an alderman work for the benefit of residents with EMT services, emergency services, fire, police, and all that?
I would say one thing, I'd say I have a pretty good relationship with the police department and fire department to start off. Being an alderman, you have to have the ability to, hear residents out, hear their concerns, and then be able to relate, back with the police department, So I would say one of the biggest things that, if a resident has an issue, maybe they have, gang things happening in their neighborhood, or they see a house that they may believe is a, drug house.
Sure.
And, they're making a comment, they could either come to the alderman or the police department, and if you have something that you find out, you can pretty much work with the chief of police and, try to get it rectified.
Right.
I think you need to have a good relationship with the chief of police and the chief of fire because, they're on the grounds just as much as anyone else in the city of Aurora, and they get a sense of what's really going on.
Besides being a working guy who is campaigning to be 6th Ward alderman, what other clubs and associations are you part of?
Not too much. I'm still relatively young, but I also serve as vice chairman of the Aurora Public Library board.
That's right. Shout it out, bro. Go to not only,
I serve on the policy and personnel committee as well as the building and grounds committee.
Wonderful.
We've been working a lot lately on completely revising the employee handbook, which is a very long document that entails everything for the employees, and we're finally wrapping it up this month. It's only taken like 8, but still relatively shorter than the previous amount of, I think it took them 2 years last time around. So
our Aurora Public Library is a beloved institution in town, so good to have you on that.
And just ironically, right across the street at one point. Now it's a
Yeah.
A little bit of a walk down, but still relatively close.
Yeah. Well, see, it's we are, and I've mentioned this so many times, we're proud to be here in the heart, the beating heart, the ventricle of what's happening down here. You can vote right there. The library's right here. I mean, come on, you know. Real quick, APS Trading Academy, good morning. Shannon Ellis is here. Johnny Felix, good morning to you. Talento Creations, good to know him. He's got a, well, we'll get to that. Shannon says, something 6th, 4th, and 5th Ward Alder people should work on is installing a bus stop shelter and sidewalks at the pace stops on Randall near Illinois Avenue. It's shameful that people taking the bus have to stand in a water-filled ditch. Thank you very much for that, Shannon. Is that something you've heard about when you go around to the folks?
I have not heard about that. That area is, I believe, a split line between the 4th Ward and the 6th Ward.
Right.
But that's obviously something that could be brought up to Pace's attention. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it could be as simple as just lifting that area up. Right. You know, putting in a nice slab of concrete and then just, you know, recentering the shield that they put up in a bench.
Okay. Well, with the way you explained it, you sound like the guy to get it done, bruh. Like you had to put some concrete in there, raise it up. Okay. All right. The time is 8:51. Tracy says, I did get a quote on how much it would cost. Also, I think it does have a landmark status. This is going back to Northgate. Linda Andrew, good morning to you, Linda. Joan Zima, Ruby, Sue B, and Claudia Lopez. Good morning to you guys. Time is 8:51 a.m. We have, just going back to when things opened up. So, as we, go back in history a little bit, you guys will recall that there was the phases of mitigation, if you remember that, and then everything opened back up. We now have, Aurora's back to where we were before the pandemic, pretty much. Besides running, besides the campaign, how do you feel about Aurora for the next 5-10 years? Are you optimistic? And what areas do you think the city, not wards and aldermen who needs to do what, but what areas do you think the city needs to focus on as we continue to be good and prosperous and make the next 5-10 years happen?
I would say I'm very optimistic.
Okay.
I believe the city of Aurora is headed in a good direction as far as development going, to speak. I think downtown area has taken a massive leap forward from 10 years back, and it's only going to get better. I believe that the Fox Valley Mall will be re-energized with the new developments going in there. I think the Outlet Mall, being one of the more high-ticket attractions in the city of Aurora, is going to greatly benefit from the casino. I think there's a lot of reason to believe that Aurora is headed in a good direction economically. I think one thing the city of Aurora needs to work on is affordable housing.
Okay, absolutely.
The rent prices are out of control. Unfortunately, interest rates have now spiked. I mean, before 2021, 2022, start of it, you could get interest rates as low as like 1.5, 2%. I think now you're sitting around for like a 30-year fixed mortgage around like 30, or I almost said 30, 6%, which is, a massive amount of money to pay to these lenders, right? To purchase a house. And, then you look at these, exorbitant prices on these houses. Nothing is getting any cheaper when it comes to, living spaces. And that's one of your main ticket items when you're looking at, how you divvy up your paychecks.
Absolutely.
And it's getting very difficult for blue-collar residents like myself and a lot of others to find affordable housing.
Right. So
I think that's the one thing the city of Aurora still needs to work on. But I think, we're headed in a good direction.
I agree with that. We are. We are headed in that good direction, but I do think that's the light that's blinking, that is getting brighter and brighter. Because as you mentioned, I mean, it's the developments that we got are great. They're attracting a crop of professionals who are now ascending to that new role, new monies and things like that. But I mean, I deal with people who are living in hotels with kids. $1,300 for a studio, and you got a person that's not, so that's the one area where I think that like we may potentially be moving a little bit too fast with that. We're making so many nice bells and whistles. Not a lot of people can ring that bell though. And that is problematic, because it's about the quality of life of everybody in the city, regardless of what ward you live in. The quality of life of the city should improve. And I think that the city is doing a good job of doing that. But again, it's the housing, it's that affordable housing part that needs to be as in tandem as it possibly can be. I did learn something though many years ago. I did learn something about affordable housing and how affordable housing plays into the into businesses coming into the city. Take Sullivan Steakhouse, for example. If you want to get a Sullivan Steakhouse to come into Aurora, which would be great for Aurora, they'll look and see how much affordable housing is around the area where they're going to be. If there's too much affordable housing, they may not come, because that shows that people don't have enough disposable income to welcome and take part in a Sullivan Steakhouse being there. That might be a risk for Sullivans to come. So that is again, this is out of at least my league right now, but I did learn that about affordable housing. So there's things that can be done, and it's a work in progress. But I'm glad to know your opinions of what you think about the city, because all of our aldermen, to your point, you guys are the link between us and the city. Mm-hmm. So it's good to know that. It's good to know that. The time is 8:56 a.m. Nicole Astra's here. Good morning to you, Nicole. Claudia Lopez, good morning. Right back at you. So February 28th is the primary. Where will you be?
I'll probably be at home with the family.
All right.
My parents have been very supportive of this run as my last, and
that helps, right? You don't want mom like, what are you doing? You'll shoot your eye out.
I'll make sure dinner's done around about 6:30.
Right.
Sit down, eat a good family dinner with the family, and then throw up the results on the TV, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay.
I think it's good to have people in your corner that support you in your bid and effort. And win or lose, it's all about making sure the residents have an option,
right,
and voicing your concerns.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest part about running for office. Not every candidate's going to win, but when you're able to get up there in front of a microphone or on a stage and bring issues about that are affecting residents and yourself, or numerous people across the ward or the city, that is something that can never be taken back.
Right.
And I think that's one of the good things about running for office.
Right.
It allows you to get up there and speak out and voice concerns, and I think that's one of the best things.
Have you grown more as a person doing this?
I have.
Okay.
I'd say I've grown 10 times in doing this. It's not an easy thing to do, especially working with numerous different people and just really being on a schedule. I would say the one thing that I still have to get better at is putting together a calendar. I am just terrible with putting together a calendar. I'll always know that I have an event this day, but then someone will ask me, hey, is this date free? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's good. And then you go back home.
It's
and you're
totally
like,
not free.
That's not free at all. And I'm just now realizing it.
Oh.
So that's the one thing I still have to, get down is build a calendar and know when things are booked and when things are not.
Okay. Well, the time is 8:58 a.m. This has been a great conversation, man. Glad to have you on. We made it happen,
Same,
right?
Curtis.
We made it happen. Took a little bit to get it together, but we made it happen, man. How can so last couple of questions here. How can folks get in contact with you for the 6th Ward people and everything? What's your social media, and how can people find you?
My social media, I'm basically just on Facebook. You can find my page, Matthew Orr for 6 Ward Alderman. You can also give me an email, and I can reach out to you as well. That email is Matt for Aurora, and 4 is spelled out FOR @gmail.com.
All right. Very good stuff. Time is 8:59 a.m. The show ends on a positive note. What is your message today for the people of Aurora?
Stay positive, stay proactive, get involved with all levels and branches of government, and tune in to Good Morning Aurora every day from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's always a good conversation.
Hey, look, man. You heard it right here, right? You heard it right here. Now, that's official, like a referee whistle. We appreciate Matthew Orr coming on. Here's the most important things you guys need to remember. February 28th, the primary. Early voting has already begun. 5 East Downer Place, Suite A. If you are in here in downtown Aurora, that's the government Kane County Voting Center right next door to the GAR. Eric Pry, what up? And April 4th is the general election. Update yourself. Get to know who the candidates are, what they stand for, and who is running in your ward. Good Morning Aurora returns on Wednesday morning. Tomorrow is Buenos Dias, Aurora. Take care of yourself and each other.